Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG-TV with Dan the Voice Diker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Riker. Brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning.
Hey again, race fans. Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG-TV. The clock now starts the countdown to Oktoberfest Race Weekend. I'm the voice Dan Diker. This is Paul. That's Billy Doc Niles. You guys feeling Oktoberfest in the air?
It's a little cooler.
I'm ready to go.
I worked on a camper all last Sunday, and I was going to go to Golden Sands for the Labor Day race on Monday, and I ended up going on a boat.
Yes.
And I went home and worked on my camper some more. So yeah, I'm getting there. And then I see the temperatures this week of 71, 66. We need it to stay like this, not have one burst of 100-degree temperatures during fest, no 40s and 50s and rain. We need to bottle this right here.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the stuff we get right now. Upper 50s at night, and you know, upper 60s and low 70s during the day. Beautiful weather, perfect weather for racing.
Did you imagine if we had 5 days of fest? Because it actually is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Some of us are there Monday and Tuesday because we're gluttons for punishment, and I get talked into doing things I don't want to do. Could you imagine?
If you didn't want to do them, you wouldn't do them.
This is true, and there wouldn't be stories afterwards. You guys would talk fest and be like this the whole time. Man, I missed out again. Could you imagine how many more campfires we could have from Wednesday at noon to, well, even Sunday night? Because a lot of people do party Sunday night. If it was, say, 73 during the day and 55 at night.
It'd be perfect weather, sweatshirt weather.
Yes.
Oh, that would be perfect. Man, we just totally killed it now. We're done.
Yeah.
If it rains, they're going to abolish us from this program here.
Yeah.
Program, of course, being brought to you by
Big Boar Barbecue, once again voted #1 in La Crosse for barbecue and catering 7 years in a row. If you're out of town and you're watching this on YouTube, definitely put this on your bucket list. This is a place you're going to want to check out when you're in town for Oktoberfest Race Weekend. Of course, we're talking about the heat, Carey's Heating and Air Conditioning. Get that furnace checked out now before you actually have to use it. You don't want to be too late. You're going to have an oops, you're going to have a situation, you're going to have an emergency. Don't want that to happen. Get it tuned up now before the cold gets here.
And I had to go through this last week because my touch screen doesn't work for some reason. And we had the AC set to come on during a certain time of the day and then turn off at a certain time of the day. 2 weeks ago it did this. My touch screen, half the screen went out, so I can't turn it off at 11 a.m. or 8 p.m. And I had to get on the phone and call, hey, something's going on here. I need heat pretty soon, and if I can't get the touch screen working, we're going to be in trouble. So, boom, out 24-hour service, and I'm ready to go.
And if Julie let you touch it, we know why.
Yes.
Fansarena.com providing us with the duds we got on. You're going to see us at Oktoberfest near the J&L Collectibles tent wearing this stuff. Come on out and say hi to us. And, of course, Epic Media and Vinyl and Back 40 Wraps for doing this great sign for us. They did our radio sign. Thank you all for being advertising partners in the 2021 season.
The radio sign, which we're going to unveil at Oktoberfest, was done by Mergix Graphics and Design.
Oh, we have a new sign?
Yes. We've never had a radio sign ever. We've had the TV one, and we had an older TV one. But this year, it's in my garage because it came rolled up, so I'm flattening it out. But we have a new radio banner to display at Fest this year.
Aha. I apologize.
Going to look good, too. Well, at Crosse Speedway last weekend, I tell you what, there were a lot more people there than I had thought because we had the 200 Lap Enduro, then we had street stocks, and we had High School Racing Association championship races, and there were actually a ton of people out there, so I was really glad to see that many folks come out. 99 cars for the Big Cheese Enduro, which was only 11 less than we had last year. 4 and 6 cylinders, and I think we had more 6s this year than we've ever had.
Yeah, I think we did, yeah.
And of course, they started a lap down.
Yep.
And then through tech, some guys started 2 laps down. Yep. And then through tech, some guys started, like Reckless John Clausen had to go a lap down because he had somehow he wrapped the radiator protection shield, something like that. 2 laps down, reinforced bumpers, 3 laps down. It never really got into what happened there.
Because you're not a technical guy.
No, I don't get into the tech. But the thing is, even if you start 3 laps done with 99 cars, you're eventually going to make it on that lead lap because after we started at 109, only 42 cars were even out there.
You know, we talked on our show last week, I believe it was I believe it was Johnny Sauter or Casey Johnson, one of them said the Jim Sauter race, 200 laps is a long time to come from the back to the front. And especially in an enduro like this, long time to make up those laps because everybody's dodging things. As long as you dodge it the fastest, you can make up them 3 laps just like that.
Well, segment 3 of the program today, we're going to share the last 8 minutes of that because there was still that activity going on. Segment 2, we're going to show you the High School Racing Association feature because we crowned a Crosse Speedway champion, and a gentleman from Melrose, Mindoro is now the state champion, regional area champion. So we're going to replay that for you as well. Here's the last couple of laps of this enduro, though. And what was cool is you start with 99 for 200 laps. We took a break at 109. 42 cars were still rolling. One car that I started to pick up on at about lap 60 or 70 was a black Honda Prelude with just a red number 7 on it. And was never scratched, never blew a tire, was bobbing and weaving. Just a real quiet run that this guy had going on. Came out of Algonquin, Illinois, and I said on the mic, well, look, they're on vacation. All of a sudden, he saw on the paper, look, there's an enduro. Let's stop off and see what happens. Ends up winning $1,000. Matt Casper, and I tell you what, when Paul used the word unscathed car in his story this week, he was exactly right. Yeah. This guy was probably one of maybe 3 out of 99 that I don't think was touched at all through the night.
Not a mark at all on that car.
And he wasn't doing 10, 15 mile an hour. The guy was moving.
No, he was hustling through the field there, especially in the second half. He just started pulling away there.
You know, and like I said earlier, you know, if you pick the right spots, you know, you don't hit anything, it's going to be an easy time getting to the front. And he just proved it, man. He just dominated this field.
Hardest part, and you'll see it in segment 3, is the bumpers that were lost from lap 25 to maybe 100. I mean, they were all over. I don't think I've ever had an enduro where everybody out there had lost their bumper in turn 4 or turn 2. Log jams, parking lots.
Sure it wasn't a trailer race?
It was close. I mean, it was really, really close. But, man, that was a really, really good time. Hey, Street Stocks came into play Saturday night, and Pete Thompson, what a way to celebrate your 17th anniversary.
17th wedding anniversary. Pete Thompson goes out and wins a heat race. And the feature, he gets to the front about halfway through. He's got a pack of wild dogs behind him. You got Schaumers. You got a couple of Larsons behind him. And Thompson does his best, as you see right here. He's going to score the season-ending victory. Rob Stanfield did just enough to keep ahead of his buddy, John Hebner. He's going to claim his 3rd division championship of 2021. He is your 2021 Street Stock champion.
Street Stock champ, minivan champ, and novelty champ, and he held his teammate, John Hebner, at bay, I think, in all
3 of them
divisions. High School Racing Association at Toma this year, it was Lockington versus Berg, and it was somewhat the same story at La Crosse with some really different similarities here.
Yes, Braden Lockington was trying to catch up to Joey Miller here for the lead, but the guy pushed things a little too hard, tangled with Miller on lap 6. Mitchellberg took over the lead, and he drove a perfect race to win the feature. He claims the regional championship for the high schoolers, and recovering to finish 4th, Braden Lockington wraps up the La Crosse High School Championship.
26 total cars were involved in 4 racetracks this year for the High School Racing Association. That was La Crosse, that was Toma, that was Madison, that was Rockford. It was really cool. Even the gal that was 4th in state points, Dahlberg.
Jaden Dahlberg, yep.
Came out of South Beloit, Illinois to come up here and run La Crosse for the very first time and did pretty good in the heat race and the features. So congratulations. Both champions are both Melrose Mindoro Mustangs. Think there's some bragging going on this school year?
Well, look at the lineage behind these 2, Berg, Lockington. That's all you need to say right there. You know, they got a name and a reputation to uphold.
A lot of drivers with both those names. When we come back, we're going to show you that feature for the High School Racing Association, maybe even squeak in the heat race. We'll see how much time we have next on 7th Rivers Racing.
Are you tired of the typical fundraiser? Well, Big Boar Barbecue can offer you an alternative. How about a pork dinner? Pork, beans, and slaw. A complete meal. It's different, it's fast, and it's easy. And you don't pay for what you don't sell, guaranteeing you make a profit. So if your church, school, sports team, or special cause needs a fundraiser, call us today. We've helped all sorts of groups raise thousands of dollars. Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16, West Salem. Now that's a mouthful.
At Big Boar Barbecue.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that really actually matter, like figuring out which remote turns the TV on, or the smell in the vegetable crisper that in no way can be vegetables, or finding your phone when you leave it on vibrate. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Welcome back, race fans. Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV, letting you know we're going to do the live show again, along with the radio show at this year's Oktoberfest Race Weekend in the J&O Collectibles North Star Customs tent, like we did last year. Big Boar Barbecue is going to be on board again, and we would invite you to stop by. We had a nice crowd watching our live interviews last year, and then people doing some shopping with Jamie and Peter afterwards. So pop in. One of the interviews we hope to get is both your Crosse Speedway High School Racing Association champ and the regional champ. And that regional champ, 5 feature wins out of all 26 drivers that were part of the HSRA this year. That would, of course, be Mitch Berg from... I need to find out how he's related to Chris Thunderberg. I think is that his younger brher?
No, he's not really. He's related to Brandon Berg, the former late model driver. That's Brandon Berg's nephew.
Yeah, he was out at told me here a couple of weeks ago with the entire green shirt entourage of family. Thought we would have a good time watching. These are high schoolers, folks. The average age was 14 years old, representing area high schools. And they said at every race they announced this year, these kids did not race like they were rookies or they were teens. They raced like they were veterans. And we're going to show you the feature right now. It's a battle of Mississippi Valley Conference foes, Aquinas versus Central sitting up front. That's right, Aquinas is in the Cooley Conference now. Mitch Berg trying to get on that outside rail. He's caught Lockington. There's a lot on the line for the 89 of the 2. A ton on the line for those 2 cars. Mitch Berg, 4 feature wins this year. Dahlberg in the 36, 4 feature wins this year. She's holding on to a pretty nice looking second place right now. Lockington and Stanfield, door to door. Berg's going to make it a Stanfield sandwich in turn 2. Thompson again goes around in turn 2, a little bit off the pace now. Dahlberg doing a nice bit of driving. First time ever here at the Crosse Speedway. It looks like she's been racing here all season. Mitch Berg's got to keep pace with Lockington. Joey Miller saw the pressure from Lockington in the heat race. We've got Deja Vu in the top 2. Dahlberg drifting back now in a fight to stay in the top 5 with Stanfield. The 2 Mustangs are door to door off for turn 2. Lockington and Berg and Joey Miller. If he can hold those 2 hot runners off, that's a job in itself. Berg around Lockington. He's going to go for the top spot. Lockington's going to go to the inside. Look at these 2 Melrose Bandura Mustang. Oh, here we go. Around and around goes Joey Miller. Two closer quarters in turn 3 with Miller and Lockington. 5 down, 10 to go. Just found out that Joey Miller in the 8 car plays football for La Crosse Aquinas. What'd they do last night, Rick? Aquinas won last night. 48-8. Ooh, serving a spanking. So it's going to be Mitch Berg, Ryan Stanfield, row number 1. Row 2 is going to be Dahlberg and Thompson. Row 3 is going to be Kinsey and Miller. Top break for Lockington. You're involved in the caution. You go to the back row, so he's got 10 laps to try to climb back up to capture the 2 car. Mitch Berg could be feeling a state championship now. A little bit of breathing room with 10 to go. That's a long race.
Drivers will get the one to go. Feast your eyes in turn 4, race fans. That is a 200-lap Big Cheese Enduro waiting to happen. Holy cow, that's a lot of cars and vans and trucks. 4 and 6 cylinder, $1,000 to win. Bonuses if you lead at 100 and 150. Meanwhile, we are back to green. Berg feels hungry. Pole shot, not a problem against Stanfield. The anxious Mustang Berg fans are up in turn 1. Across the stripe, it's going to be Berg, Stanfield, and Dahlberg. Thompson and Kinsey, your top 5. Berg's just not to get too over anxious now. He's just got to calm down and run his race. And again, by the end of the night, we're going to know whether Mitch Berg has won the state championship or not, or will it be Braden Lockington? Lockington has a long ladder to climb, though, in this feature. Halfway home, Berg's got it in cruise control. It's Stanfield, here comes Dahlberg and Kinsey. Kinsey again won the state championship last year in the 72 car. He's going to put pressure on Dahlberg. Again, Dahlberg, 4 feature wins this year in that 36 car out of South Beloit, Illinois. And 1 top 3, 5 total races, and she is 13 back for the state championship. Ran all of her races at Rockford. Four to go for Mitch Berg. Two by two, here comes Kinsey finding some late burst of momentum. He'll take on Stanfield for 2nd and 3rd, both trying to stay on the podium. Dahlberg and Lockington. Lockington just has not had the power he did earlier when he got into that wreck in 3. Mitch Berg's feeling it, 2 to go. Final white flag for the High School Racing Association this year as Charlie Thompson's got a bumper people better be watching out for. Kinsey, oh! Stanfield just destroyed the bumper. He's taking a piece home with himself. He's dragging a little bit under his right front. Checker flag is in hand. Your final feature winner, it's number 5 on the year for Mitch Berg. Kinsey a strong 2nd, Stanfield 3rd, Lockington 4th, and Dahlberg rounds out the top 5.
Even though Lockington had that misfortune there, he was able to wrap up the track championship, and Berg sailing off to, what'd you say, his 5th win in the region?
5th win.
5th win in the region. He will lock up the regional championship, so congratulations to both of those Melrose Maduro Mustangs.
Heading into Saturday night, out of the 26 cars that were part of the HSRA, 2 drivers had 4 feature wins. One was the female Dahlberg.
Yep.
What was her first name again?
Jaden.
Jaden Dahlberg, who ran Rockford this year to South Beloit, Illinois. And Mitch Berg had 4 as well. So he walks away with the most wins in the HSRA. When we come back, we're going to kind of stay on the quarter-mile track with a little bit more destruction.
Yes.
Just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because this weekend is the trailer race of destruction, part of the night of destruction on the Crosse Speedway. So we're going to get you all geared up for that coming up next.
Would you like a job making people happy? Well, I believe we can help you out. Big Boar Barbecue and Catering has openings for both full and part-time work. Days, nights, or weekends. Need to be free on weekends or need to be done by the time the kids get out of school? We can work with that. We need hard-working, energetic people who love to make people happy because our food makes everybody happy. Join the team at Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16, West Salem. Now that's a mouthful.
Big Boar Barbecue.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that really actually matter. Like figuring out which remote turns the TV on, or the smell in the vegetable crisper that in no way can be vegetables, or finding your phone when you leave it on vibrate. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Welcome back one more time. 7 Rivers Racing KQEG TV. You can watch all the TV shows from the past 10, 11, 12 years on our YouTube page. Make sure that you like that page, especially when we go through the month of September, when we start bringing back some Oktoberfest races from last year to kind of get the gears winding up a little bit for this year's 52nd annual Oktoberfest Race Weekend. Enduro time. How many Enduros have you ever called? None?
None.
You know, that is the hardest feat of any kind of a race announcer, period, is to get 96 names in 200 laps and then start memorizing some of those names with the car numbers with what their car looked like.
You would think, and I would think the hardest part would be keeping track of who's leading, because once they get into that big scrum right there, I mean, you can't see the scorecards like the official scorer can. So I think that would be the hardest part of an announcer, is to see, you know, who's leading and where they're at. And here's what the last few laps of that Enduro looked like last week. Keep your eye on that black number 7.
Yellow 113 of Devin Schlitz out of West Salem. Having a good run. Oh, Stanfield bounces off the front straight wall 3 times. Wow. Cut tire, and well, that's really going the wrong way. That whole front end is just broke now on the 1220 machine. Tires are going wherever they want to go. In the 1220 getting into it with Stanfield, that's Brad Owen out of the Crosse. And his night is over, sitting here in turn 4 out of harm's way. 12 to go for a grand, folks. The night has belonged to the number 7 for quite a many laps. He's on the back chute heading into turn 3. Stanfield is blowing it into turn 4. Good control of that Dodge. Ten to go. Where's your driver at? Hopefully still on the track. Got that Postal Machine 55 who was having a good strong run. That front end's all kinds of messed up. Radiator sneezing all over the place. His night's done with an 8 to go. '19 back on again with a brand new tire on the back end. Count 26 cars still out. 26 cars still rolling. 7 to go. This has been a long one. Jeff Truck has that mail car. The number 5 looked like a Postal Machine out of harm's way. 45 is going to come back on, try to finish this one. New tire on the back of that one. 26 cars remain with 6 laps left. Still a lot of cars fighting for better positions. You could have started 90th in this one and be 23rd right now with everybody that's dropped out. Four laps remain. Speeds are starting to pick up. Your leader's right there with a turn 4, the number 7. Nice and smooth. His entry in, entry off all night long. He's just avoided wrecks, avoided everything, and he's had a real smooth ride. And that front end of that 55 destroyed. 2 laps remain, race fans, for $1,000. Your leader's right there in the 7. White flag is out. 4 left turns in the front straight for the man from Illinois. That's 7 Machine. There comes the white. There's some tired drivers out here tonight. Boy, did they suffer through quite a bit. Checker flag is in hand. That's 200 laps. Here comes your winner in the 7 Machine. $1,000 richer. What a run for that 7 Machine. Wow.
You know, one of the most interesting entries. Now, we've had a lot of Crosse Speedway drivers were in there. 4-cylinder guys were in it. 6-cylinder guys were in it. Former late model driver Troy Tuma was in the Enduro, and I had to laugh every time I mentioned Dirk Diggler and what he was driving. We've seen him win big money Enduros throughout the country for the past, I think it's been 4 or 5 years now.
Oh, yes.
He'll run 35 Enduros. This was the first time that he'd ever ran an Enduro in a van.
What?
What? Yeah, I thought, wait, is that Troy in a minivan? Oh, my goodness.
There's the 20T in a gray Buick Century something minivan, and he didn't do too well.
So you're telling me his buddies in the Twin Cities didn't put a bounty out on him this year?
They should have, because they would have won a ton. Well, what happened was Troy saved his good car to run the 2.5-hour Roval Enduro in Madison, which was that
the next day on
Saturday?
Yep.
Sunday the 6th.
You need to look on Facebook because he flipped his car over. I mean, entirely flipped it over and ripped the entire hood off from the frame all the way back. Was completely ripped off. He ended up going to the hospital. And after a couple of cocktails and a sore neck and a sore shoulder, he said he's all right. But it was funny because the picture is upside down. This thing's destroyed in Madison.
Oh, my God.
And then here's a picture of him in it without the top, like Smokey and the Bandit, when the sheriff had his top ripped off the car.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And he told them, hey, just let me blankety blank get it started. I want to finish this race. He wanted to go back without the top.
That's valuable evidence.
Shut up, Junior. Put the evidence in the back seat. That's going to do it for this week's show. Again, we're going to have a lot of highlights next week. The whole show will be Night of Destruction from the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. And we're going to keep you ramped up with some old races from maybe last year, maybe 10 years ago. We're going to bring you a lot of Oktoberfest coming up over the next couple of weeks, right here on 7 Rivers Racing.
You've been watching 7 Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Diker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Reichert. Brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. Thanks for watching 7 Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.
Are you tired of the typical fundraiser? Well, Big Boar Barbecue can offer you an alternative. How about a pork dinner? Pork, beans, and slaw. A complete meal. It's different, it's fast, and it's easy. And you don't pay for what you don't sell, guaranteeing you make a profit. So if your church, school, sports team, or special cause needs a fundraiser, call us today. We've helped all sorts of groups raise thousands of dollars. Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem. Now that's a mouthful.
At Big Boar Barbecue.